Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and I'm outside the Ocho in 8plex with 16 garages that we bought a little over a year ago. And I think we got a good deal. We paid $1.35 million for this. I bought it with one partner, and it's been an okay investment, but it's also come with quite a number of hassles and difficulties too. So I'm not sure if we're going to keep it or if we're going to sell it, but we've got to take care of some of those difficulties and problems first if we do sell it. So the garages have been going pretty well. We actually raised rents on those recently, so we'll talk about that. We had one broken into, another one that wasn't paying rent, but I think we've alleviated those situations, maybe. And then we have some other issues in the actual building itself, where we've got one tenant who hasn't been paying rent, and that particular tenant was getting public assistance the whole time we've owned this property. They were put in place by a previous landlord, not us, and they've been doing the COVID assistance. They've been paying that, which isn't amazing. They'll get behind on rent, and then you kind of send them an eviction notice, and they send that to the local COVID assistance place. Then they pay back rent plus like 1 month's rent. Then the next month they stop paying. You have to do the whole thing again. So it's pretty weird how they do it. They don't really kind of pay you in advance. Well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But this tenant has not actually paid any rent themselves, from what we know, since we've owned the property. And then this last month or two, they said they're going to be behind, said they'd bring us rent, said they got a new job, never brought us rent, said, oh, we'll bring rent the next week, never brought us rent. Then they said they lost their job or some other stuff happened, never brought us rent, and said, we just need more time. We said, you have to give us something. Like, even if it's not full rent, to show us that you're trying, you have to bring in something. And they just refuse. They wouldn't even bring us like $50, nothing. So they just refused to pay anything. So we filed an eviction notice, and that will be coming up here pretty soon, actually. They have not paid anything, made contact with us at all. So that will probably be happening here soon. So we'll show you what that unit looks like, and we usually do film the evictions as well when that's going on too. And then another tenant, the last tenant who's placed by the previous landlord before we bought it, we think he just kind of got some people in here real quick without screening them very well. They have been kind of, there's trash all over their unit, trash in the front walk area. The other tenants have complained about them numerous times, and their lease was coming up for renewal. So we told them, hey, we're not going to renew your lease. Gave them plenty of notice. And then some other tenants called us today and said, oh, those tenants moved out. It stinks. We think there's a squatter living in there. So I'm like, great. So we called the tenants, see what's going on. They said, yeah, we're out. And we said, okay, great. Come bring us the keys. They said, oh, well, we're not out yet. We're still moving out. We need the keys still. So don't know what's going on there, but we'll see if they bring us the keys here the next day or two. They still have time left on their lease, so we can't just kick them out yet or do an eviction yet. But I'm guessing they're not going to pay this month either, because this is their last month and we gave them notice last month, so we haven't received rent from them yet. So the plan with that is to post an eviction notice as soon as we possibly can, which is probably right now or next week, just to get that process started in case they don't move, in case they aren't out of there. We can post the eviction notice for not paying rent, and then if they're not out by the time their lease ends, we can do the eviction sooner. Now, hopefully we don't have to do that. We don't like doing evictions. That's kind of a last resort. We usually work with the tenants. We've worked with other tenants here. We've gotten the COVID assistance, gone through that process for a lot of these units, but in some cases you do have to go through an eviction. And I'd say 95% of the evictions we've ever done have been from tenants who we inherited on properties we bought. So it's kind of something we are expecting sometimes with these properties. They're decent deals, although this is probably one of the nicest tenant occupied properties we've bought, or I've bought in a very long time, if not ever. And this garage here got broken into a couple of months ago, and the tenant had called us to get it fixed. We patched it up, ordered a new garage door from our garage door installer, and he came to put it in, and there was so much stuff in here that he couldn't install the garage door without the tenant moving his stuff. And he told the tenant that, and the tenant has never called him back to have him put in that new garage door, because I guess he doesn't want to move his stuff. I'm not sure, but all kinds of craziness going on. This garage right here was the only garage we've had where the tenants stopped paying rent and wouldn't answer their phones, had no contact with us at all. We had no idea if they're using it or not. So we gave them notice, said we're going to inspect the property. We have the right to do that in the lease. They didn't respond. We did open it up, and there's just almost empty, almost nothing in it. So we still have not gotten any response from them. So we'll be renting that one again here shortly. And then the rest of them have been going pretty good. We did send them notice that the prices would be going up to $200 a month, which is actually, you know, cheaper than what we've been renting them at. We've been renting them at $250 a month, and everybody agreed to the new $200 price. We want to give them a break since they're already here, except for one, and that tenant's friend agreed to rent it for $250. So we literally had it rented right away. And then hopefully we'll get the washing machine working again here soon. So this is a place where I've been collecting all my quarters, and I really do like collecting quarters still. Well, the washing machine broke the end of last year. We got a bid to fix it. They said it's too expensive, we'd have to get a new one. So we ordered a new one, and in the meantime it just started working again, or a tenant fixed it, something happened. So it worked for another 8 months, then it broke again, and this time it wouldn't start again. They said the motherboard was fried, so we ordered a new washing machine. We'd use the other one at a different property, and that came in like 2 or 3 weeks. Got it set up. I was kind of changing out the coin slots and pricing it right and getting it all set up, and it didn't work. I couldn't figure out if it was me who messed it up, what was going on. And we had it looked at by our guys. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with it, and we called Whirlpool. They sent their warranty guys out, which is a local repair shop. It took them 2 weeks to get here. They looked at it, said, oh, your motherboard's fried. Had to wait another 2 weeks for the motherboard to come in. So hopefully that's getting done here today, and we'll have a working washer and dryer again soon. So the coin up laundry is nice, brings in some extra money, but you know, it's not foolproof, that's for sure. There can be some repairs needed, newer machines, but it's not just the money it brings in, which is nice, but I think they're easier to sell. They're more appealing to buyers. If we do decide to sell the property, it's nice it has coin up. We can say it has more income coming in, and I think it's just a bonus. And not only did the washer not work, but it took me forever to get the change thing switched out. We can change the price on it, and that was very frustrating. It took me forever, and then to find out it didn't work was crazy. And part of the big frustrating thing is you have to use that giant bolt to connect the coin op thing, and you literally blindly have to stick that in there and find the hole, and that can take forever. And I did that quite a few times. Took it out, took it back in, then the coins weren't working right, fixed that, got that done, got everything put together, and then after doing that, the spring wasn't in there. And then trying to turn it on, it doesn't work. Here you can see the property. When I first bought it, it looked a little worse than it does now. This is the one where we had the tenant parking in the grass, which actually looks better at this moment. It looked better later in the fall and winter, right there where they kept parking on it, which is weird how that happened. But you can see we painted it, cleaned it up, made it look a lot nicer, and hopefully we can get through some of these tenant issues. We have had quite a few tenant issues with this property, but like I said, a lot of those were inherited tenants from the other landlord. And I think the plan is to eventually sell this one. It's not my favorite property. Like I said, we paid $1.35 million for it. It's probably worth in the $1.8 to $2 million range with the garages and all the units. Rents continue to rise in the area, so we've been charging $12.50 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a 1-car garage. And the apartments next to my office, we just found out, are charging $11.50 now for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with no garage. So rents have skyrocketed. I just did another video about rents and their prices earlier this week if you want to check that out. All right, so we'll see what happens with this one. Love the likes, love the comments, love the shares. Keep those coming. We'll have updates on this and our other properties as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back with more.